Hello, and welcome back to my garden. I cannot believe that we are fast approaching the end of summer. We've only got 2 weeks left. It's the 16th of February today, and it is well and truly time for an update for the garden. Very exciting. I've already started my seeds, so my brassicas for the upcoming colder, cooler weather ahead of us. Wouldn't know it with today sitting in a very fluffy jumper because it has been so cold. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a look. Let's start with the seedlings, or the seeds that have just started to germinate after only being planted a couple of days ago. So very exciting. We've got our rapinis have poked their little heads up, a romanesca. No luck with my garlic chives. We've got a Savoy cabbage come up there. No kohlrabis as yet. No Brussels sprouts. I believe they need some heat to germinate. There's a little cauliflower that's in there, but it looks like it might need some more soil over the top of it. A few broccolis and a couple of the purple sprouting buck broccolis. These are the broccoli that I let go to seed, which was my daughter's playgroup teacher, so they're coming up beautifully. I think everything that she touches has some magic to it because everything seems to go really well. And that different silver beet that I had got in that pack from Bunnings are germinating from the seeds that I saved, so that's incredibly exciting. So behind me is the tomato patch corner, and I had to remove quite a few of the tomato plants. They were just starting to die back. I had done a very silly thing of trying to self-diagnose a problem that I feel I may know, but I shouldn't keep trying to just like work out what things are doing. I should really get a specialist to come and tell me all. But anyway, I ended up putting some bicarb soda spray on what I thought was the blight to try and control it. But it may have actually been because I was doing a foliar application of all of the fertilizers. So from now on, or next year, I'm going to try and just apply that fertilizer to the soil instead of to the leaves, and see if I can make the leaves a little healthier because they were starting to get a little bit crispy. So this was the Black Russian. All the leaves have gone except for just that very top bit there. There is a couple of flowers up there, so I'm just going to let it run because we still will have a couple of hot days ahead of us in the next couple of weeks. And the Romas have lost most of their leaves now, but we've got obviously a lot of those about to ripen. These two were the last ones that I put in the later than everything else, and one is a Roman speckled, which I think is that one, and then that one I believe was the green one, and that has well and truly died a very slow death. So I'm sure that that's it for my tomatoes for the season. Then this cherry tomato is doing really well. It's managed to come all the way over the arch to this point now, which is not far from having completed that arch, so that's exciting. And the other one going in the other direction is doing really well also. This is the fuzzy peach, and we have had so much production off this plant. And this one, you can see we've run out of space in the 1.8 meter bamboo, so it's coming all the way down here, which I'm happy for it to do now because it is the end of the season. So I'm just letting these guys go now. No more pinching out the suckers. I'm just letting them do their thing and seeing what production we can get before the cold weather starts to set in. The basil plant has gotten really nice and bushy, and these guys have come back. We've got some new little growth on the butterfly blue peas. On this side, I put in a row of dwarf beans, which they have been severely burnt in some of the hot days. We've had a few hot days in the high 30s. That is a little pumpkin that my daughter got from her teacher as well, which is doing really well now that I've put this in the soil. Talking about the soil, I actually am going to take out most of this soil when it comes to pulling all of these summer plants out. And I have bought a lot of Vasily's planting mix, I think it's called, and I'm going to use that. I believe that I need 4 to 5 bags per bed. Hopefully, because my beds are a little bit smaller than an average bed, I might be able to get away with the, what have I got now? I think I've got 14 bags left, because I did need to use a couple, which I'll show you what I use those for in a second. But like, I put that in that mix and it's gone from being very yellow and sad to having some nice growth on it. So I do believe that it is a really good mix. I'm really happy with it. My cabbage, I'm going to actually harvest this soon. This is a ripper. Like, it is hard, and I think it's going to be amazing. Hopefully it hasn't been eaten out too much inside. Good little comparison here for, this is the shadier side of the beds, these two back beds, and that's as tall as that cauliflower got. Cucumber. That's as tall as that cucumber got, as opposed to this one that got much higher. And in fact, if I had have got those little bits up there taped up even higher, but I think that these guys are at the end. I think that and that little one in there, if you can see that one, and then this one, I think they're my last cucumbers of the season for these guys. There is another little plant that I planted in here, but that's not going to get much production, I wouldn't think, for the end of the season. And there is also another one here too. This is a new plant, so I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. It depends on the weather, obviously, with these guys. But the celery's doing really well, because that really struggled when I first put that in, but it is loving life now, so that's great. There's our little friend. And this one, the one that never flowers before, is now on its 3rd round of flowering. There's a little bud there, and we've got a nice new little bit of growth here and a couple more down here. The corns, they've been fun, so they are really super cute. I'll show you those in a second, because I did harvest a couple off here. Was a little worried when I first harvested them, because they were like yellow with a red spot on them, and they were supposed to be red. But how about I go get them now, actually? So here we go. So after having dried them out for a little bit, they have definitely turned red, and apparently we can use these for popcorn. So we need to harvest the rest of these cobs, because we've got quite a few now. And even the little ones that were struggling at the back have started to get all their flowers on them. See, they're much smaller. Definitely not the right place for this. There was not enough sun in this bed at all. But as I said, everything has been an experiment this year. I keep going to pull these beans out, and then they keep just producing a couple more. Not great for a meal, but enough for me. The spaghetti squash, well, I think that's as good as it's going to get, so I think we need to harvest that. We had an uh-oh moment with this guy where it snapped and had to harvest that pumpkin, but I think it was well and truly ready anyway. And I think this guy's ready too. This is so cute. This is the little baby boo. Would have loved to have had quite a few of those so that we could have used them for decorations next Halloween, but that's obviously not going to happen. We've only had the one. Butter beans. My son's been from school. That never produced anything, so that's a bit sad. And I had the acorn pumpkin behind here, but I did end up moving it. I'll show you where I moved it to in a second. And then the other spaghetti squash never did anything. And then we've got this guy here, which is starting to turn its final color, I'm assuming. But very interestingly, we've had a lot of other little pumpkins. I've taken them off now, but they all just rotted. And there's another one, there you go, there's another one there, which is starting to form. I'm not sure whether this plant could only handle one fruit at a time, but again, I'm not sure whether it was just the fact that they didn't have enough light. I mean, now that we cut this back, and it's starting to come back now. I'm not sure if you can see all those olives up there, but cutting that back and cutting these 2 big branches off here allowed so much more light to come into this bed. This one has got many buds on it ready to go for round 3. These were my little cucumbers from Aldi, an Aldi packet. I did just harvest one, so I need to test it and see what it tastes like, because it was little and different, and I'm not sure if it was just because it's the end of the season. Still got our carrots. I made a carrot top pesto. I'm not sure if I told you about that, but it was delicious. So that was good. A good way to use these. I've got lots of these little pancake squashes now. The amaranth is real. Oh, look, there's a flower in there. Oh my goodness. Yay! Because I'm hoping to use these leaves in a cannoli recipe. But I was going to move it when it was little, and it's just all of a sudden, like literally overnight, just shot up. There's another celery in there. I have to insert a photo. This is the most gorgeous eggplant that I've ever seen. So I bought one because I just bought one that was like this from Bunnings because I had to have it in my life. I'm not a big eggplant fan, but I am going to find some ways to use it. And there's a couple more little squashes in here, which is so exciting. The peppers, chilies, I've harvested a heap of these guys because I didn't realize that the more you harvest, the more they grow. So I've kind of left them, I think I left them a little bit too long, but I'm about to do a cowboy candy, just a little batch because I've only got a couple, I've only got a handful, but I'm going to do it with the medley of the orange, red and green. So that should be good. This is probably my biggest Roma to date that I've had, so that's good. And again, I think I did a comparison, but I'm not sure if I posted it, but that's that Roma compared to the slightly shadier area, all planted at the same time. So it just shows you how much the sun makes a big difference. There's the strawberries from the berry picking farm. We can't seem to, oh, see, like, I keep hiding these from the birds and they just keep finding them. What else have we got? Oh, these, I didn't know if these were Jimmy Nardello's or the Go Chew chilies, but apparently they are the Go Chew chilies because we tried them and they were both spicy. There was 2 plants and I didn't know if they were the same plant or something different. I've got this as a bit of a laugh for my husband. This is a Carolina Reaper and it came in like a beer can, so it had like a beer lid. And I'm not sure if that's one of them germinated or whether it's a weed, but that's kind of cool. And these are going fabulously. These are the continental cucumbers. So they've actually got a few fruit on them now. So I'm excited to have those when they're ready. And then this little guy has always been sort of well behind the others, but he's actually doing really well. I'm going to try and pot these so that I can overwinter them because they've taken a lot of effort and they are obviously very slow growing and need a lot of sun. So it seems a waste to just lose them. All of these are doing really, really well. Adding some colour. And I just wanted to show you this. This is really interesting. So this, I'm going to pull this out, but I just wanted to show you before I pull it out. So this was a seed that I planted and then replanted in here. And you can see how spindly it is. I mean, forget the fact that it's dying now, but you can see how it's very, you know, tall and lanky as compared to the one next to it, which was planted directly into the garden bed, and this one was as well. I'm not a big fan of marigolds. I don't really like the smell of them, but I mean, they're doing their thing with attracting pollinators. Had to take the top of this purple basil off because it was starting to flower. Look at the runners, like runners everywhere on these strawberries, and then lots and lots of flowers now. So that's exciting. They honestly, picking these back or picking all the fruit off these really did wonders for the production here. some more peppers, lots of pretty flowers as well in here. And this is the potato, and that's the meadow sweet. The meadow sweet, actually, I had to put it over here to give it some protection because it was not happy in all the heat. So it's really burnt a lot of its leaves. So I need to keep that in a bit more of a sheltered position, or just slowly introduce it to the sun because it has been in shade predominantly most of its life. There is a beetroot there, but I think that it's not got too much of a bulb on it, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. I've planted more of those. Still haven't seen any production from these golden zucchinis. There's lots of them in there, but they just keep rotting before they flower. So I've staked this now and trying to encourage it to grow upwards and see if we can get some fruit production. Same with these ones. We've got the little Lebanese ones, but haven't had any fruit off it yet. The sweet potatoes, oh my goodness, they are just going so good. So I need to get a stir fry done so we can use those. I think I said that last time. I really need to do that. And then this is the other green Black Beauty zucchini. Again, a couple of fruits on there, but they seem to rot before we get to the pollination stage. No raspberries. So I'm going to just leave these canes and hopefully maybe next year we get lucky with those. And I do have a question, if anybody has the answer to these sunflowers. So I tried to collect some seed. There is a lot of ants on these. And it said that you had to have the bees have pollinated it. And this is definitely a different head than what these other ones are. These ones are all fluffy, and this one definitely looks like it's got some seeds in there that we can harvest. But my question is there a name for these sort of like little ones that sort of, see how they've popped off that, like there's the main flower and then there's like two flowers, but they don't have the center like the other one. They're just like a little offshoot flower. Is there a name for that? Because I've tried to Google it and have had no luck finding the answer. And these have done really well. These are the yellow pears, so they've produced a lot of fruit for us. And I've put the yellow tomatoes separate to the red tomatoes because I'm going to do a yellow tomato pasta. See, like this sunflower's the same. So it had a big head, and that one looks like it's been pollinated as well, and we can collect those seeds. But then it's got these little offshoot ones which just look like a normal flower. So please, if you do know what it is, let me know. These were my last minute tomato additions. So this is the Roman speckled Roman, and there is actually a little fruit there. These are the pink tie-dye Berkeley. So I need to get these in now where I've removed the other tomatoes, but I'm hesitant to do it because of all that disease that they might have had. But again, it might have been self-inflicted from myself. Pink Bumble, I had 3 and I'm left with one not very happy one. And my sun golds, like that one's not happy and that one doesn't look happy either. I sprayed these as well. I shouldn't have sprayed them with that bicarb mix. And some fennel, so I need to get that in. I think there's 2 of them in there that have survived. And then this is the Tulsi Holy Basil, which does smell beautiful. This would have to be the slowest potato I've ever grown in my life. So these were Dutch creams, seed potatoes that I put in, and this one is only just sprouting now, and there's another one in here too which is in this space. Again, I put Vasily's planting mix over here, and I've done the same thing here. I've mounded this one up, and you can see that this one's obviously close because it's got its flowers have come up. So if I open the flap though, we can't see any potatoes, so we will wait until this dies right back. But this was planted at the same time as that one. This is my newest addition, which has got a few little bits and pieces extra that I realized didn't like full sun. So this only gets a partial amount of sun. I was actually gonna have a lot of herbs in here because I thought it would be fun to be able to get the herbs out of this garden. But I bought these heirloom lettuce variety. It was from the Diggers Club. And then I started to put in some other bits and pieces, And I've decided that I'm now going to have this as like my salad bar instead of herbs, because there is radishes, there's pak choy, there's the mizunas and tatsoi, dill, spring onions. I've planted some leeks in here. That's the acorn pumpkin. I put that in here. There's carrots in here as well. So I think that's going to be much better for just coming out and grabbing a whole heap of stuff for salads. And I'll just give you a really quick little sneak peek of this. This is a Mr. Stacky, and I'm having a lot of trouble with caterpillars getting everything, so I've had to replant a lot of things in here. But I've got lots of good things, a lot of Asian greens in here. That's the ivory kale, this is a Greek basil, some more celery. There is a sun gold tomato in here, the spinach, but a couple of them I do need to replant in here. So once this gets bigger, I'll go into more detail. There's some mustard greens in here, some chicory. But yeah, I'm loving this idea of being able to grow lots of stuff in such a small, compact space. I thought this was interesting comparison. So these were the two black cherries, in inverted commas, that I grew from a seed packet. And you can see how different, like how little these are compared to how big these ones ended up being. So not sure why that was, but I think it's an interesting comparison. So I know I've still got heaps of tomatoes that I can harvest, but I am so impressed because I was a little skeptical at the start of the season. But at this point in time, this is how many red tomatoes, so these are the Romas and from the red cherries, that I have managed to freeze for some tomato sauces. And then also to go in with those are the black Russians and purple Cherokees. And then I saw the lady that does the pasta, I can't remember, is it the Pasta Queen on YouTube? She did a yellow pasta sauce, and I was like, right, I'm gonna save some of the yellow tomatoes to do that as well. We've also been eating a lot of fresh tomatoes, so these are just the ones that I've put aside for some sourcing activities. But that is so exciting, and I just can't believe that my little couple of plants has produced that much produce. It really is quite mind-blowing. Not all obviously at one time, so therefore hence the freezing, so that I've got enough at one time to do a project. But honestly, I need to weigh this and see how much this is, because this is a lot of tomatoes. But incredible, just shows you that you don't need a lot of space to be able to have a huge production of your own homegrown produce that doesn't travel further than your backyard to your kitchen, which is amazing. On that note, that is a very quick tour of the garden. Thank you so much for watching, and get your brassicas in now, because February is the time. You need some heat in order to get those Brussels sprouts germinating. So if you want to plant anything like that, I do suggest that you get onto it ASAP, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.